I lived in the top part of my apartment, with a large rectangular window in my living room. Whenever night fell, I'd always get incredibly nervous looking out of it. Mostly because it was pitch black, as if the darkness outside consumed my entire window. So I'd always ready myself to get to bed immediately before the sun had set. That way, I could avoid the window and wake up to the morning where I can actually see the outside. Though, this night wouldn't be lucky. My work got extremely busy, so when I got home, not only was it near sunset, but I was extremely exhausted and slept on my sofa for a bit. Or, I thought it would only be for a bit. By the time I woke up, it was nighttime. I let out a gasp and turned my head away from the direction of my window. I muttered under my breath.
That's it. This is ridiculous. I am buying curtains tomorrow like I should have done soon.
Suddenly, I was stopped mid-sentence by a tapping sound. 3 light tapping sounds, but I could hear them clearly due to my living room silence. The tapping was coming from the direction of my window. I could almost feel my rapidly beating heart jump to my throat, only for me to swallow. I didn't know why I was so afraid to look. My body was screaming for me not to look and to just dart towards my bedroom fast and shut the door. But I felt my head begin to turn slowly. I don't know why. Maybe I was just too curious. Or something was pulling me to look. Whatever it was, I immediately regretted my decision. What was outside my window, in the pitch black, tapping, was some sort of incredibly thin person. His visible hand was so thin I could practically see the bones of his fingers. He wore a black hoodie, black hair obscuring one of his eyes. Though the visible eye was dark, hollow, as if he didn't have eyes at all. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was his neck. It was broken, his head tilting an impossible angle no human should be able to. And when he tried to speak, he let out a broken moan, coating the glass of my window with his breath, making a circular fog. Despite it, I could see tar-like black ooze drip from the corners of his mouth and down his chin. With that, I let out a loud scream that I swear I could have woken up my next-door neighbors. But no one ever woke up to check or even yell at me. I found that out the next day when morning thankfully came. I spent all night hiding under my covers as if I was a little kid thinking it's safer under there. I brushed off last night's incident at first as a terrible nightmare and tried to apologize to my neighbors for any noise I made last night. They told me they never heard a noise. So I truly believed for at least half the day I was just having a nightmare. That was until I looked at my window. From the very bottom of its frame was dried black sludge that seeped all the way down from my window to the floor, the same stuff that came out of that thing's mouth. I planned to move out of this apartment as soon as possible.